Today I'm going to do a video on censorship awareness and censorship in the music industry. Let's get started. As you see here, I've got a few vinyl out I want to show you. First up is Sheila E, who was off of Paisley Park Records, which Prince owned until 1994 when he had that dispute with Warner Brothers Records. He felt like he was being treated like a slave from Warner Brothers Records. He had a contract dispute with them. Basically what happened with that is that he tried to bite the hand that feeds him. That's a whole nother story, but with that said, on to Sheila E. Anyway, Sheila E wanted to be half naked for the album cover, and Paisley Park and Warner Brothers Records would not let him. So, as a result, they did not allow her to be totally nude, as you see here. You can see part of her midriff, and some exposure of her right rib, and some partial exposure of her bones too. Ugh. Now turn it over, and you'll see her bare legs. Yes, rather than using a white background for the back LP cover, they used her bare legs as an alternative. And this is also on cassette too, which I happen to have. Moving on. Right here is said Singleton's earliest creation for Black Market Records, or I should say Black Forest Records, since Black Forest Records was the earliest incarnation of Black Market Records back in 1989. And this is the first musical product that they ever put out, which is called Homicide and the Jack Squad, knocking off all weak MCs. Notice how it says knocking off all weak MCs, and there's a red F over the C. There's a red letter F over the C. If this were to be released in 2000 or 2007, whenever, this F would be totally black without the C being there. It would be called Knocking Off All Weak MFs. I guess they were trying to appeal to all markets without saying the word motherfuckers on it. And so they shortened it to MF, or the MCFs. You know what I mean. I guess this is another form of censorship. Record companies today and in the past have used all sorts of forms of censorship to censor what people listen to, hear, and read about. The government wants to censor what you can hear, read about, or listen to. You see, that's what happened. And it's still happening today. The reason for the MF thing being done, the MC thing I should say, is because Bellmark Records is a family-owned record company, or was. It's currently being distributed by Capital EMI. I don't know how they got in the mix, but with that said, or said Singleton, you all know who that is. Moving on to the next record. As you see here, Lil Caesar turned goat into scrote. What I mean by that is that he wanted to pose nude for the album cover originally, but Atlantic Records, being a major record label corporation that they are, would not allow full nudity on their musical album covers and whatnot. So, as a result of censorship here, you see stencil lettering in style, what coaches call Lil Caesar. Stencil lettering in stencil form, military style, it says Lil Caesar. It's been a long time coming at the bottom, where some of the hands are showing. And here we have arms from females of all races covering his genitals, and a stencil-style logo Lil Caesar covering where his penis and testicles should be. Turn it over, you could see where his bare naked ass would be showing. As a result of censorship, for the media censorship, there's a sideline with all the titles of his songs, as you see right here. And on to the last but final record, Lil Kim. As you see here, Lil Kim, let me zoom out. As you see here, Lil Kim wanted to pose fully nude and showing her vagina for the album cover, but as I said before, it's the same thing that applies to Lil Caesar's album cover. Atlantic Records did not want her to be nude. Of course, it would be too controversial for them to sell. So as a result, they made her wear false patsies or pasties or whatever. Some call them pasties, some call them falsies. That's why your nipples are covered, because this album was very popular in Japan back in 2003. Because Japan has a weird censorship rule that nipples must be censored, even in porn, which is really odd. It's really fucking odd. But you know what I mean. This album has some good shit on it. Yeah, with that said, you can see where her suspenders are covering her nips. You can see where her suspenders are covering her nips and titties. And you can see why she's wearing pants, because she originally wanted to expose her vagina, but Atlantic Records would not let her. Now turning it over to the backside, you see a song title called Can't Fuck With Queen Bee, featuring Governor and Shalene Thomas of Full Force. They blurred out the word fuck. They used stars and asterisks, you know what I mean. And they censored it on the back too, even though this is the explicit version, ironically. And mine's a promo too. It has a golden stamp on the back, as they used to do back in the 90s and 2000s or whatever. So yeah, they censored Can't Fuck With Queen Bee. The song itself is not censored, don't get me wrong. But other than that, to this day, record labels and the government still censor what people can read, hear, or listen to, and write to, I should say. But other than that, thanks for watching this video on censorship awareness and censorship in the music industry. Hope you like all my other videos.